Hey there, folks. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me again for another classic pro wrestling match from back in the glory days of professional wrestling. This is from 1983 in the Portland territory. As we'll see, Sivi Afi against the Dynamite Kid. So, two nominal baby faces, generally. Sivi Afi and Dynamite Kid. Dynamite Kid, of course, member of the British Bulldogs. Afi would have a run in the World Wrestling Federation a few years after this. It's from the South Pacific. So let's get started. There's an interview after the match involving, I believe, Stan Stasiak. Skip over that. It has no bearing on this particular match. But we will catch this match between Sivi Afi and the Dynamite Kid. And here we are in Portland Sports Arena, and here's Sivi Afi making his way to the ring. Afi, of course, from the South Pacific, was brought into the World Wrestling Federation in late 85, early 86, when Superfly Jimmy Snuka left, was officially billed as Superfly Afi. The WWF was trying to push him as a replacement for the Superfly, and that did not work out. The fans were not that impressed with Afi. He was not as big as Superfly, didn't have the charisma or the microbility as Jimmy Snuka, and Afi would kind of tumble down the cars and become more of an opening match guy. We see Dynamite Kid in the ring. Of course, member of the famous British Bulldogs tag team, and there's Don Owen, promoter for Portland Wrestling, introducing the combatants. Dynamite Kid was also an outstanding singles wrestler for WWF Junior Heavyweight Champion. Held titles over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's a big star in the UK, of course. Big star in Canada. Suffered a back injury in a tag team match against Bob Orton and the Magnificent Morocco. Was never the same after that. He ended up, unfortunately, in a wheelchair and passed away a few years ago. Wrestled a very fast-paced, hard-hitting style. Should match up well here with Afi. I'm assuming they're both baby faces. We'll see if there's a handshake before the match. Referee going over some instructions. Afi offers a hand. Dynamite not interested. So maybe Dynamite's being a little bit of a heel here. Collar elbow tie up. Dynamite Kid has Afi in the ropes. Knee to the gut. And forearm to the back. And Dynamite misses the elbow drop. Yes, I believe Dynamite is the heel here. And no, takes down an unsuspecting Afi and goes to work on the leg. Dynamite and Afi would, of course, cross paths again in the World Wrestling Federation a few years after this, in 87. There'd be some tag team matches between British Bulldogs against Afi and Haku, King Tonga at the time. I believe Tama had I believe he had left the WWF and they were thought about keeping the Islanders going with Afi as the second Islander. And that didn't really work out. If I recall, the Bulldogs had some matches against an Islander team there for a brief period of time. It was Haku and Afi. And Haku, of course, would go on to become singles wrestler, become King Haku. Eventually team up with Andre the Giant to become World Tag Team Champion. Dynamite Kid now has a nephew going by the Dynamite Kid moniker, Tommy Billington. He's currently wrestling for AEW. Young man looks a lot like his uncle, patterns his wrestling style after the original Dynamite Kid. Dynamite Kid was a very influential wrestler. See a lot of guys utilize a lot of his techniques, a lot of his style. Current day Bryan Danielson would be one to come to mind. Chris Benoit idolized the Dynamite Kid. Uppercut, forearm. Knife edge chop in the corner. And Afi's coming back. Afi wearing boots here. If you remember from his WWF days, he was generally barefoot. A lot of the Samoan and South Pacific wrestlers were Snuka, Haku. See some mat wrestling here between the two. And down in Klamath Falls, I got Hennig and I against Rip and the Assassin right there in the Klamath Falls Tuesday night. And then in Salem and Eugene, I'm talking to Sandy Barr and Elton Owens about that, and they're going to probably let me get Rip all by myself. And this is coming, I'm assuming, from the Portland Sports Arena, which, if I recall, was a converted bowling alley, which was owned by Don Owen. Which one of the reasons Don Owen was able to stay in business for so long. He owned his main arena there in Portland. World Class was the same way. They owned the Sportatorium. That kind of helped those two territories last a little longer than some of the others. Portland lasted up into the early 90s before they finally closed their doors. A lot of other promoters tried to get something going with Portland. I believe Sandy Barr had a promotion called Championship Wrestling USA. It was briefly covered in the Aftermags there in the early 90s after the Pacific Northwest Wrestling territory had closed, but it wasn't very successful. All the things you saw Buddy Rose do to all the good athletes we've had come in here, from Rowdy Piper on down the list. Afi trying to get out of this headlock. Gets Dynamite Kid up against the ropes. Referee out calling for a break. Shoots off Dynamite Kid. A shoulder tackle. And big old back body drop. Afi going to work on the Dynamite Kid in the corner. Said before, this match is from 1983, June specifically. Afi's lost his temper. He's now choking. Dynamite Kid in the corner. Now they're back out in the middle of the ring, and Dynamite Kid's going to work on the leg. Afi was given a pretty good push when he first came to the WWF. As I said, he was going to be a replacement for Superfly Jimmy Snuka, who had left. Eventually got a pretty good push coming in, got some wins on TV, primetime wrestling. Fans did not take to him. They did not like him using the Superfly moniker, so they dropped that pretty quick. He was just Sivi Afi after that. He'd eventually just really become a lower card opening match wrestler. Pick the win up here and there over some lower heel talent, then would lose like the main guys. He'd be one of those guys you'd see in a tag team match on Superstars Wrestling Challenge. He'd come in the ring, get some shine against the heels, tag out to his jobber tag team partner, he'd promptly lose. Keep working on Afi's leg.
Well, it was a wild scene out there. We must have had over 100 people in the ring, including Buddy Rose, Billy Jack.
That kid would definitely add some mass to his frame, especially once he entered the WWF. Missed that. After trying to get back to his feet, and Kid goes back to the leg. Now, Kid could be known as a surly individual. Had issues with some people, the Rougeau brothers specifically. He was a jokester and a prankster, the Dynamite Kid was.
Dynamite Kid. Hey, have you heard what the challenge
Working on the leg, trying to get a submission.
No. Oh, great. I'm going to say more on top of everything else. Oh, yeah, wait till you hear about this. Talk it to me.
Notice the crowd there. Something I'm not commenting on any of the other videos. Notice the crowd. A lot of older people in the crowds. Much more than even today. You saw a lot of older individuals coming out to the matches. They were big fans. And you don't really see that as much. Kind of younger men mostly, and kids for the current product. See a lot of older ladies there in the crowd.
There's been so much stuff going on tonight. Dynamite's got a side version of the figure 4 leg scissors. He just dropped it.
The territory days, you
He's going to try to punish Afi.
would run some of their main towns on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, like Portland territory here did with the Portland Sports Arena. Gut wrench suplex. Over goes Afi. 1 and 2, and that's all. I'm going to give it an elbow drop. 1, 2. Afi's back out.
Afi kicks out again. Don't take more than that to subdue this big young man,
Afi goes to the midsection, off the ropes. Chop. And a headbutt. Wrestling trope, of course. If you're from Samoa, South Pacific, you had a hard head. Oh, and Afi missed. Shoulder into the ring post. What are we going to see here? Tombstone. Is it? Bam. Tombstone pile driver. That should be all. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Dynamite Kid. Over Sivi Afi. See Afi holding his neck after that Tombstone pile driver. Big win for the Dynamite Kid.
We'll be right back. No, well, we'll be right here. Don't you dare go.
Solid match here between two youngsters on the way up in the world of professional wrestling at the time.
Stan has some special words for you.
Referee checking on him. And there, see Stan Stasiak, former world champion. I believe that is Stan Stasiak. Dutch Savage interviewing him. So we'll skip that as it didn't really have any bearing into. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this. Another trip down memory lane into classic pro wrestling. Try to give some insight into some of the wrestlers you may not be as familiar with. A little trivia, a little commentary on what's going on in the match. If you do like my channel, please, I hope you would like and subscribe. That helps out a great deal. Feel free to comment below and talk about Sivi Afi and the Dynamite Kid or Portland wrestling history, whatever you want to talk about. Be happy to join in the comment section. I'll be back again tomorrow with more great wrestling action. Thanks for watching.